Yes, we are live. Welcome to another episode of Miracle Mindset for Men, episode 20. I am your host, Heyru Dre, aka Handsome Heyru, aka Dre, aka anything else you want to call me. Tonight I have a very special guest. Tonight I want to introduce y'all to Alien Black Girl. This episode is called Create a Balance Between Divine and Masculine and Feminine. So we're gonna get right into it. So before we get started, Miss Alien Black Girl, please tell the people a little bit about you before we get started into tonight's conversation.
Yeah, peace, y'all. Peace. First, I want to say Happy Hoodoo Heritage Month. We got a couple more days in this bad boy, but my name is Kashia, also known as Alien Black Girl on every platform. I am an Afrofuturist, occultist. I'm a hoodoo practitioner. I'm a doula. I'm all of those things. I'm the lady, so I'm really utmost all. I'm for the people, so I really enjoy, and I'm really glad to be on this conversation. So thank you.
Awesome, awesome. So, it's a little bit of background of how me and Alien Black Girl met. We met on Brother Rich's platform, but we actually met in person at his event he had called the Gathering of the Masters. And I think the first time we met was at the restaurant. Was that the restaurant or was that the event?
Yes, I'm still thinking about that. It was Ethiopian food that
Yeah.
I got real quiet. It was so it was so good.
I still got the video of all of us sitting at the table.
I still got that play video as well.
Yeah, that was a vibe. That was a good time though.
It
That really
was.
was a good time. It was a vibe.
Hmm.
I was seeing some of your Instagram posts and the things you were talking about. Initially, um, my podcast is really just about focusing on just helping the men better themselves. And
Hmm.
at first, I wasn't gonna have women on because I really didn't like. It's kind of like I want to just like try to focus on the men's mentality, but it changed because I'm like, what, it's okay to get a woman's touch on certain things because
Yeah,
women they contribute to a man's life in some form or fashion.
for
And I
sure.
think it's important that we get women's perspective on things, how we can help ourselves and our healing journey. And I think it could be a healing thing for women as well, because what y'all might talk about what we need, y'all may need for yourselves.
Hey,
So, um, what made me spark up this topic tonight, I haven't been on here in about a month or so, probably about 2 months, because I've been, traveling and stuff. But
jet setting, jet setting.
I've been gone. 8 trips in 9 months is crazy work, ain't it? Hey, but you gotta do what you gotta do. You gotta live your life.
Listen,
But just experiencing different things and hearing what's being said out there on the internet, and then just talking to different people. There's a disconnect between men and women, and it seemed like the connect the connection is getting a lot larger. It's not
hmm,
it's not closing in and nothing like that. And I've been trying to figure out what it is. Like, I know what it is from the propaganda standpoint, but I'm trying to figure out what it is from the spiritual standpoint, the emotional standpoint, and
yeah,
the mental standpoint, because there's a lot of factors that's going in with why men feel like they don't need women, or women feel like they don't need men, and everybody just want to be by themselves for the rest of their life. So, what do you think is going on? Why is the masculine and the feminine so divided right now?
I mean, I think that answer is very layered. And so it's like more than one answer, I will say. But I do think one of the overall reasons, one of the most pressing, is there's just allowing other systems to tell us how we're supposed to get together instead of figuring out what works for ourselves and our systems and what we need, and then trying to find folks within that. I say that to say, you mentioned just like the propaganda and social media, or what other folks think or deem you should be doing, and so you buy into these things. You're just constantly scrolling and doom scrolling and in these things, not realizing you can log off. It's so simple. You can log off and actually do these things in interpersonal and figure out like what it is that you want. But I feel like that part of that disconnect of like from self is really one of the greatest divide, because if you don't know what you want for yourself, if you don't know what you got going on with yourself, you're not going to really be able to identify uh, a good complement, a viable partner for you, for yourself. And ultimately, some folks don't even want to try, or they give up, and they may say, you know what, forget it. I want to be alone. And now I'm not saying all folks, because that's not all, people on a monolith kind of thing. But like, sometimes it can just be exhausting. But people don't understand that you have a choice in what you subscribe to. You have a choice of like what is, and social media culture is only a small percentage of what is. So yeah.
Yeah. It's a lot of fallacies and fraud shit going on
Whole
social
lot.
media.
Type shit.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I remember at one point in time, it did have a hold on me, a very strong hold on me, and I had to disconnect and go go find myself
Hmm.
and find my own value and what I can contribute, not just to myself, but to the people that surround me. And I think there's too many people following bad advice.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is. I think people are looking at the lifestyle and not the life of that person. I think people like to just show what they want you to see, but they don't show you what they're really going through behind closed doors. And I always, I talk to the older people a lot, and there be a lot of debate and disagreements. But one thing I can learn from them is that they had true love, and their love did start spiritual.
Hmm.
And now it just seems like everything is a financial come up, financial gain, and everything like that. Like nobody believes in love no more, and not the word, but the action of it. I think
Right.
people don't know the difference between the two, and I think that what separates the masculine men from the feminine women, because now it's feminine men and masculine women
Right. Yeah.
is getting out of control. So
Hmm.
what solution would you have to kind of reverse that, or like close the gap a little bit?
I mean, honestly, for me, because I find myself in that pool of seeing that constant negative connotation about what relationships are supposed to be. I think that a solution needs to be about connecting back to spirit. Like you said, it is a spiritual connection. So whatever that looks like for yourself, and getting back to a sense. And when you say connecting to spirit, and you talk about our elders and things like that, it was connected to principles and morals and understanding and respect and things of that nature, right? And so in present day, what does that look like for us spiritually? Now, it may not look the same as our elders, but it's the same thing. We find ourselves in like spiritual communal spaces, or spaces where we gather for knowledge and all those things. Why not those spaces?
No, you keep
One,
going.
two, three.
I
Ah!
no, I just put you on the big screen.
That terrified me. Why not?
No, I just put you on the big
So
screen.
why? I'm so sorry. No, so like I was saying, so not why not find and folks within that community, but the thing is, just like you said, it's transactional. Even starting to see that even in spirituality, it's starting to be transactional too. And so that's an unfortunate thing, so folks have to get back out of, you do this, I do this, and instead of and adapt a more reciprocity type of modality.
Yeah, because it just seemed like everything is motive now. Nobody leads with love,
Right.
and
Right.
and and that's. Do you So what would you consider divine femininity? If you can describe it in your way, what would you define divine femininity?
I mean, wow, that's a really loaded question, my brother. Okay, so I
And
think when
I'm
I hear When
I'm
I
looking
think,
for a loaded answer too.
I know, and you just had me just looking at myself as I'm saying this is crazy, and
You
I'm
want
not
me?
good
You
to
want me to
know.
look at you? You
No,
want me
it's
to be?
fine. The divine feminine can look at herself. It's fine. It's cool.
Okay, all right.
No, but for me, I think about what the word feminine means and what it stands for. To me, when I think about feminine, that is being receptive. That is that chaos that is waiting to form and create. Feminine is being fluid, and how that looks like in a woman is just that, being able to receive, being fluid, being receptive, being, you know, uh malleable, because it is in our DNA to be able to evolve and create life and to create different shades and race of life, so we constantly are in that state of chaos and creation. And when I say chaos, I don't mean that in a derogatory way. I mean that in a metaphysical, spiritual way. So that creation aspect is what I see and think of feminine. So when I hear divine feminine and me, I think of myself as divine feminine. It's like always in a state of creation, always in a state of becoming, of receiving and outputting, what it is that we receive, and that's why you have that principle of like, the mother's the child's first teacher, because we're always outputting. So divine femininity to me is, how I express that as a woman. What am I putting out for what I receive? And that's why it can be dangerous on what you receive too, with social media and things like that, because the things that we receive are the things that we give out. Mhm.
So, how can a man feel comfortable in a divine feminine woman? Like what safety does it have with that divine feminine woman?
You tell me, based off of what I've said, divine feminine woman is, man. How would that make you feel safe, or what would you need to feel safe in that space?
Well,
Hmm. Well.
knowing that whatever I tell you, you don't judge me. That's number one.
Hmm.
Accept me how I am and who I am and what I am, and know that you're supporting me and rooting me to always do better. Um, it's funny you mentioned that because now I'm just thinking back to what I used to be thinking a while ago. Like, dating a lot. I'm pretty sure I could speak for the majority of the men when I say this. There's a sense of a feeling that we get from a woman that we know that this is the one for us,
Right.
and that feeling is it's like a it's like a warm comfort feeling. Like I could let go and let my guard down and just be able to express myself in all forms,
Yeah.
from mental, spiritual, emotional, and physical.
Hmm.
And it's getting very, very hard to find that now because you really just don't know nobody's true intentions anymore.
That's
And I'm
true.
a person like I hear what you're saying, but I need to see action. Like when people say I
Right.
appreciate you, but how are you appreciating me? When people
Hmm.
say when people say like I love you, but how are you loving me? You know what I'm saying?
I
I
do.
just think that too many people are talking and they're not doing
Hmm.
because it sounds good to themselves. Because people, you listen to yourself speak a lot, so you whatever sounds good, you think it sounds good to you, so you think it's gonna sound good to everybody else. But
Right.
everybody else don't feel that way.
Hmm.
But I think that right there, being able to be vulnerable with
Hmm.
that, and like I said, to be accepted and supported and not being given up on, I think that would be a way of us to, feel, comfortable around a divine feminine woman. Yeah. But
Yeah.
this ain't about me. This is about you.
It's
But
not about, the title is
that's
divine feminine and divine masculine.
yeah,
So it's about
y-
it's about both of us, it's about synergy, it's about it all. So it is.
so How can a woman help a man go through his mental baggage when he's trying to help himself, but he doesn't know how?
Ask me that again.
How can a woman help a man
Mhm.
who's going through mental baggage? And how could she help him through that?
Honestly, I think it depends on the man and what he needs. I think that there is not a one size fit all. For example, you just explained what it is that you need to feel safe in a divine feminine space. And so it may be different from another man. So I think that for a woman who is with a man who's trying to help him navigate through some things, is to one have a conversation about what he might need and not assume that, for example, what she might need, he it'll work for him. So I think it's really important to have that conversation with your partner, and as well as that divine masculine man to be able to express like, hey, I'm going through these things. I'm not really sure to how to navigate these things. I need some help. And honestly, even before these things happen, these are conversations you have with people as you're dating them and before you're even getting into that relationship mode. So you're not really having to have these difficult conversations of like, I'm down now, where you at? Because there should be a series of um instances like before you say, you know what, this is the one that you already know, like they're gonna already show up for me. You know what I'm saying? And so I think that for folks who are dating, it's really important to talk to one another and express like when you're lacking and when you're not. And if the concern is, well, I don't know if I can trust this person, or I don't know if they're gonna, or they're always gonna turn on me, maybe you don't need to be with this person. You see what I'm saying? And I always advocate for therapy. I think that's like, you know, go for therapy too as well, because it's no partner's sole responsibility for the emotional satisfaction or development of their partner, but they can nurture and encourage and assist with what they need.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Well said. So, okay, outside of the relationships, like as far as like intimate relationships between men and women, how
Mhm.
can women help men help themselves in the instance to where they need to be a better person, period?
I'm trying to figure out what answer you want me to give here, because how can the woman help make the man a better person?
Help himself be a better person. And this is outside of intimate relationships. Cause I'm pretty sure you have male friends or male acquaintances or people that are men that you be around. And I'm sure you may have come across some men you know, who could be better, who have the potential to be better, and they want to be better,
Mm-hmm.
but they don't have that support system.
Okay.
And
Okay.
so, how can a woman help a man help himself be a better person?
I mean, as a person, I can be his friend, if especially if we're not in a relationship aspect, like I would do anybody else, see how I can be of service to them, like about what they need, and call for the accountability of like, hey, I see this is where you're lacking. So maybe a little nudge here or there. I mean, but it would be anything I would do, a woman should do for any of their friends if they're of good character and standard, is being able to speak to where there needs to be improvement or sharpening of your character, and be able to receive that same type of um, critique and criticism, and or however you want to call it, back. So yeah, that's how you can help someone else be a better version of themselves, is that accountability system, and giving them tools. But like ultimately, in order for anybody to do anything for themselves, herself, they have to want to do that as well, and be able to vocalize like, this is where I'm at, this is what I need, this is what I don't need, and whoever doesn't align with that program, you know there's no need to entertain them. So
Okay, so what if it was a brother? Would you still be the same? Like he's doing
Yes.
some dumb shit. He doing some dumb shit. You like, hey, come on.
I feel like I was only talking about brothers. What do you
I'm
mean?
talking about your brother, like your blood brother. Like,
I got one of those, and yes,
oh,
what?
okay, okay.
What? I might.
Cause you know.
I actually might. My actual brother. What? I
That
mean,
sound like siblings. That sound like sibling fighting.
you said my blood brother, but no, I think the nature of a person, the answer should all be the same, because of your character and who you are. Whether you're sleeping with a person, whether you're your friend, whether it's somebody that's asking your opinion about something, your baseline of your truth and what you gotta say should be the same, and how you show up for people. You should not be code switching how you show up for people just because you like somebody differently or you got something going on. You should maintain the same standard, of who you are. Because my homegirls and my homeboys, my cousins and uncles get the same thing. Strangers might get it a little worse, but it's like you're supposed. I guess that's what I can say to folks. Like, there's no need to code switch who you are, and that's what goes back to like knowing yourself and what you need and what you want and what you believe in and how you are. So you don't have to. And if you are a weird person, then you collide with weird people. Just don't, because everybody ain't
Well,
upright.
you can unweird them. Is that even a word?
I can unweird them, but I only have this much capacity. I have this much. So yeah.
No, no, I feel you. So okay, so I had some prominent men on my channel. I had Black Dot, had Minister Jew, had Rich,
Mm-hmm.
um, my friend Aramis, I don't say his name wrong, and
Mm-hmm.
David. And I explained to them about having a brotherhood, right?
Mm-hmm.
Having men that hold you accountable and uplift you. And I think that now as time go on, I think that that only could take a man so far, but there's nothing like a woman's touch.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I'm gonna put it to you like this. I think this is the best way I can describe on both ends.
Mm-hmm.
When a man goes to find a wife, he wants to find a wife just like his mother. I'm not talking about personality wise. I'm talking about how she takes care of him.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with the women. I think if they grew up with their father, of course, they go out and they try to find a man like their
Sorry, something's
father.
not right. Wait a few minutes
Not
and try setting up again. It's the speaker. They listening.
but but a woman goes out to find a man who's like her father, not personality wise, but someone who she feels safe and secure
Mm-hmm.
and protected by. As a I would like to make an acute assumption that you are a divine feminine woman. As a divine feminine woman, how can you detect when a man is in his divine masculine and when he's not?
I'm gonna have to go back to when you said action. It's all in your action and what it is that you are doing. Especially in a time where like words can come a mile a minute and fancy and complicated. I would say you're able to detect a masculine man, that masculine energy by the actions and how others respond and react to that to that energy as well. So and I do, and I'm gonna go back a little bit. I agree with you when you say like folks, when you grow up, you want to mirror the who you grew up with. I did grow up in a two-parent home, and all and those things. And for those who did not, it's important that as soon as you recognize that you did not grow up in that type of household, and then you find what it is that you need and desire, and align with that, and so because sometimes we can use the excuses, well, I didn't grow up this way or I didn't grow up that way, or but once you're able to pinpoint like the I didn't, you now can fix that. You can now can heal that. You now can go on a path where you can figure out like, well, this is the the act reactions or the consequences or the outcomes of this way of being. So this is how I need to be or I want to be or for what I desire. So yeah.
Okay. Well said. Well said. You know, creating a balance between the two can be difficult. Um, Only because of people don't know. I think back when you said people need to know who they are first, and I think
Mm-hmm.
that sometimes people don't put themselves in that type of energy, if you
Mm-hmm.
will. Like a lot of people
Mm-hmm.
don't believe that they're divine masculine, and a lot of people don't believe that they're divine feminine. So they have the mindset of a peasant. And I'm not trying to say it in a disrespectful way, but
No, I
they
get
have the
it.
mindset of
I
a
say
they have a
peasant like twice a
yeah,
week, so it's fine.
they have the mind of a peasant because they feel they're not, I guess, worthy or deserving to have that type of title because
Mm-hmm.
they're not in that energy. They're not aligned with that energy. And we all have the potential to be there. Some of us have never left it. Some of us had to develop it, and some of us may not never get it.
All right.
And it can definitely be difficult trying to put a balance in there when people don't know that. So, my podcast is about helping men help themselves. And
Can I
I
say
think this
something?
only yeah.
You said two things. You said the balance is hard, between the masculine and the feminine. We got to understand, like, the idea of balance, the concept of balance is always going to be a thing that's always constantly worked on. Think about when you step on them old school scales where you have to turn that thing, like, it's balancing your weight. It's a struggle. It's always trying to do some things, like, so, like, when we think of balance, it's never going to be like a constant state of like, oh, we flat, we reach this thing. It's always going to be like that pull, right? And so our goal is, as men and female, and that masculine and that divine, is to get ourselves close to damn near perfect by acknowledging, like, the where we are, like the areas in which we lack, in order to successfully connect and combine with our counterparts. And I like to say counterparts and complements because we all have different functionalities, and we all have different purposes and visions. And I think that is also important too, as we're getting together with one another, that we have those conversations to see if those things align. And if they don't align, that's just not your person. And you said another really good thing about, like, how, there's some peasants, those who see the light and see the way of that knowledge have that, and those who do not. You have to let them be amongst one another. And those who have the eyes to see, they may look backward and be like, hey, what they got going on? Because you are actively living in what it is that you are saying. And it goes back into that action piece on how you can really find that divine masculine and that divine feminine, because they're actually doing it. And then they're like, oh yeah, by the way, let me tell you what's going on, instead of saying, well, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and they're living like H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P. You know what I'm saying? And so it's really important that we gotta leave the peasants where they at, because you hang around peasants too long, the dust fly up, and now the bottom of your mat, you're dirty. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, but then there's a difference between educating the those who don't know versus wasting your time and convincing folks who are comfortable where they're at that this is what you believe in, or and that can go within your relationships, that can go within spirituality, all that kind of stuff. So leave them peasants where they at. Align with your own fellow, what you define as royalty, what you define as, this is how I'm gonna build my kingdom, this is what I need, this is what I want. And then find a person who be like, okay. Not find a person like, well, what if we colored it blue? Or, unless this is what you want, this is what you want. So it's just like, find your people. Don't try to convince folks of what you got going on. It's tiring.
So so what is the biggest challenge for you finding a divine masculine energy in a man?
I think I would have to say compatibility, and most likely I would have to say maybe my location. honestly consider moving out this bad boy. But no, I think it's actually compatibility. Just because folks think like, oh, you're single, I'm single, it's like, yeah. But let's talk about it. Let's have these conversations. Like, what do you want for yourself? Like what do you envision for yourself? Like, just having those conversations before it gets physical. People get physical and then they try to figure everything out later or just no longer interested or what have you. But I think for me, it one, my time hasn't come. Two, I've had a lot of growing and self-reflection that I needed to do for myself in order to be the best version of myself so I can have that counterpart that I really desire and that I want, and so I just think that it's a mixture of a lot of things. So but I should move, absolutely.
What is your sign?
I'm a Gemini.
Makes sense.
I feel like I don't see your face. What's your face doing? Come back, come back, come back, come back. Come back. What's wrong with the Gemini?
There's nothing wrong with a Gemini. I'm on the cusp of a Gemini, so
You're a Taurus or Cancer? What's your
Cancer.
okay,
I'm a
okay.
June Cancer. Yeah, I'm like 2 days right after the Gemini season is over. So I
Mm-hmm.
got I got I got some of the residue of y'all traits on me. Just a
It's
little bit.
fine.
Hey, you know. But you mentioned something about self-reflection.
Mm-hmm.
So say, okay, let's use this scenario. Say we're dating, right?
Mm-hmm.
And say that I am trying to get into this, the bravado of being a divine masculine man, but I lack the self-reflection. You are in your core essence of your divine feminine energy. How can you help me self-reflect and understand that there's some things I have to do to get into that bravado of the masculine energy?
Sit you down, give you a shoulder rub, and say, "Brother, you need to self-reflect." No, no, but but no, honestly though, it's
That'd be
like
nice though.
I don't think that there's like any like magic trick to do that though. If you're my partner and I see like there because honestly, if there's a lack of self-reflection, then that means there's friction in other parts of our relationship, right? Maybe there's a lack of communication, maybe there's a constant frustration, maybe there's always a root to something, right? So I really think those are really the good times to talk to one another and realize like we're together. Like we're not opponents here. So when I see that whatever the symptoms of the lack of self reflection looks like, whenever I see them, I'm not gonna automatically be like, oh, so what's up for him? I'm gonna be like, all right. I might be like, okay, what's going on? You know what I'm saying? I might be
Hmm.
like, hey, what's going on? Like what's up? Like, we're gonna have a conversation. Like, we're gonna talk about it, but it's not gonna even be in a tone of reprimand. It's gonna be a tone of like, you're my partner. I know what makes you itch, titch, giggle, all those kind of things. And I see that there's a disconnect or a disruption in the energetic flow that we have. So I think that even when you're in your divine, me and my divine feminine, I'm able to recognize something in my partner, because I think that we're always in our divine essence of something, but sometimes our light may flicker a little bit. So if you are really in a relationship with this person, if you're really a counterpart to this person, you're gonna be like, hey, we need to get you shining back to 100. You on 86 right now. Like, what's going on? How can I help you? And that conversation causes for self-reflection right there, without me having to say like reflect. I'll still give you I'll still give you a shoulder rub though. So yeah.
Oh, so you a catering type person? Like to cater to your partner? I
I
always
am.
feel like that's just how women were just made to be. In my opinion, I just feel like women are natural born nurturers. I just honestly feel that way. I find something wrong when a woman feel like she doesn't need to be a nurturer.
Mm. I mean, I think that I mean, okay, that's what you think. I mean, I think that innately we do have the natural ability to nurture because we are women. You know, we have breasts to feed. We can feed. And so I do think that. But if somebody don't want to nurture, don't force them to. You know what I'm saying? But I definitely do agree with what you're saying. Like it's
Yeah,
just that
because it's
natural.
like, not say you got to nurture everybody, but just the simple fact that y'all have that encoded in y'all.
Hmm.
But there is women out here that don't like to be a nurturer. I don't know, maybe because they had like a bad experience with
Yeah, you
somebody.
never know. You never know
So
people's circumstances. And everybody, listen. Everybody not listen. There are different types of people in this world. Okay, we haven't even met all the types of people in this world. So some people
man,
don't even know how to spell nurture, and that's okay. However that came to be. So it's just align with your nurturers. And so.
but I think I might have just found the key ingredient to helping men, how women can help men. Disclaimer: not all men, but the
Okay.
men that need it and who appreciate it and who
Okay.
desire it.
Okay.
The nurturing factor. When a woman, this is how I view it. The best type of woman is a woman who is in the essence of who she's supposed to be,
Hmm.
meaning that you're a nurturer by nature. You're a person that loves to take care. Everything that you do is out of love. There's everything is unconditional. And I'm gonna get to something a little bit later I had said on Instagram, but I think that is like the key ingredient to help close the gap between men and women when it comes to this division that we're going through, because it seems like, I don't know how true it is. It
Hmm.
seems like women are too busy getting money and men are not busy enough getting money. I don't know how true this is. I'll just be
Hmm.
out here living my life. I kind of got like blinders on. I kind of just focus on what I got going on. I focus on my
Hmm.
my purpose and passion, right? And traveling.
Hmm.
But I do hear. I have my ear to the street because I have to be. I want to be hip. I don't want to be. I want to be behind on
Change
nothing.
roads. Change avenues. Change.
So I think that is definitely a key ingredient to help closing the gap is women being in the essence of themselves. On the flip side, men have to be in that essence of always making a woman feel like she's protected.
Hmm.
And unfortunately, it seems like it seems like a lot of men are not carrying that essence of protection anymore, or
Hmm.
not as many. Let me put it that way.
Hmm.
And I think that in order for men to carry that essence of protection, they got to go heal themselves. They got to get with a brotherhood. They got to be responsible for all the actions that they do. They have to be aware of everything that they say and what they think. And I think once they are secure within themselves of who they are, then the energy will shift in them because the work is being done, which
Hmm.
we like to call shadow work, right?
Right.
And I
Or
think
inner
that
child healing.
I want you to check out my YouTube video with Q Reeves about that. Man, that was a good one. We talked about healing the inner child. That's actually the name of the title of that episode, Healing
Okay.
the Inner Child. But that's a good one too, because a lot of little boys grow up with a lot of trauma. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? And they pour that trauma onto anybody that's in their path. And then people who don't grow up with trauma, they get trauma from a traumatized person. And now they
Yeah.
traumatized, and it's like a never ending cycle. Now you gotta go to
It's
therapy
a
because this,
disease.
yeah, and it's just spreading like a plague and stuff.
Hmm.
So I think that it's important that men learn how to get back into the essence of being masculine.
Hmm.
And my highest choice is that women could just stay in the essence of that feminine energy that y'all are so good at having. Like, I just
Hmm.
love I love women who are just like, they just women. I don't know how else to put it. Y'all just y'all girly, y'all it's just something about y'all energy that's very calming. You know what I'm saying?
That's
How y'all
good. I'm
speak.
glad.
It's how y'all speak, how y'all walk, how y'all talk, y'all demeanor, everything about a woman I love because it's like I need the opposite of me. I don't want nothing like me. Not at all.
Yeah.
The spirit now we can align, yeah, for sure. But
Hmm.
I don't want you like me when it comes mentally or when it comes physicality or when it comes to energy. You know
That's
what I'm
why I
saying?
say
Like
compliment. I say compliment because the whatever you fill in those. It's like this, like you fill in those gaps of one another. So it's like y'all have different functionalities of everything. So it's like y'all aren't the same goal, same mission, different functions.
so do you think you could date somebody who acted just like you?
No, I no, no way, no, no, no,
Why
no.
not?
I mean, no. I mean, all the things that you said. So I know who I am, and I know I need a compliment and someone who, is divine in that, right? Nobody like me because I'm divine, feminine. So
But
no.
I'm talking about personality wise.
Oh yeah, fine. Personality is different from
The
the
energy.
whole.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm okay with the personality wise.
Oh, okay. That's
Hmm.
cool. Okay, so this is what I wanted to bring up. So I made an Instagram post about
Okay.
a couple weeks ago, and I need to put some context behind this post before I say it. I'm part of
Please.
this men's this young what's it called, young black men's mental health awareness group on
What's
Facebook. So one day, um they had did a Zoom call. It was like 78 of us in a Zoom call. So I'm just, everybody introducing themselves. We talking, everybody talking a little experience. We was on the Zoom call for about a good 4 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm listening to the stories that these men are telling that they are going through in their relationships and marriages. And it got to a point to where I think about four of the men cried
Hmm.
because of the emotional drainage that they had from the relationship and the relationships they've been in.
Yeah.
And I often think like, you know, it has to be something serious for a man to cry in front of 70 something different strangers about the pain that he's going through because he doesn't have an outlet. Prime example, there's a guy who was going through, he's separated. He's trying to figure out the divorce thing because his wife wanted to divorce him, but she don't want to divorce him. She playing games, right?
Mm.
And she has custody of the kids and he's on child support. Now, mind you, they're not divorced, they just separated.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember what state he was in, but all state laws are different when it comes to that situation.
Yeah.
So he was just saying how he did everything that he was supposed to. He ever since they got married, she never worked a job that she didn't want to. And if she even if she had a job, she only just paid for her own stuff. She never had to pay any bills out of the house. I just asked her to take care of the kids, whatever, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
He said that what changed is that she went on a girls trip and she came back acting different. And he said for like a year straight, she just acted like she was unhappy. She kept on telling him, "Oh, you don't take me out as much no more. We don't do this. All you do is work and stuff like that. You never had time for me and the kids." So he said, if I make time for you and the kids, then I won't be able to provide the things that, you know,
For
to
sure. Yeah.
all the stuff around you. And then
Yeah.
she said, well, and she told him he needed to change career fields. But the dude is making like
Mm-hmm.
almost, he's making, what do you say, like 400,000 a year? Cause he's an engineer, but he
Mm-hmm.
worked crazy hours though. He worked like 12, sometimes 13 hours,
Right.
but he bringing in bread though. So I'm like, well, what's she complaining about? So then he started getting teary eyed, and he started breaking down crying. He said he really loved his wife, and he said he don't know what he did for her to act like this. He said he don't know what happened on this trip. That's one story. Another story. This guy was going through relationships. He was playing the nice guy, paying for dates, giving women money when they asked him for him. They had no problem. He was a very free-hearted guy.
Mm-hmm.
All these girls kept dogging him out. They kept on saying that, he's not what they're looking for, but he could be cool and stuff like that. So one day he said that he had a girl pay for a date,
Mm-hmm.
and she went to the bathroom and never came back. And
Yes.
it was messed up. Like these stories that they tell was like really messed up. Now I haven't experienced none of these things, right? I'm just sitting there listening.
Mm-hmm.
So I say all that to say the post that I made, I said that I'm starting to believe that women are incapable of loving a man unconditionally unless it's their children, or their family member. What do you think about that statement?
Overall, I think that the constant. I'm gonna start by saying this: those men's feelings in that group are so valid, and that it's unfortunate and unfortunate thing that they have that group space to be able to exhale, but it's unfortunate that they can't do that within their homes. I will also say this too, to the whole entire, all the posts and all those things. If you constantly surround yourself with these instances, or with the rhetoric on social media, or with what they're always saying, that's all you're ever going to attract. That's all you're ever going to attract, and that will always keep you in that mindset of like that's all that's out there. Because one thing about me, I do not really engage too much with meeting people online. I really like to meet people in action and doing the things I want to do, right? But I will go back to answer your question, because this is the question. I've had those experiences in my family where those things happen, and I really think that all of those things are very unfortunate. And I say to those brothers and whoever are going out there that just keep your head up and all those things. But for me, as a woman, as a divine feminine woman, I don't entertain any of that rhetoric. I don't do too many of the podcasts where they're talking about relationships, or where they have all those talking about relationship questions, or what would you do? What would you do? Are you somebody that I would date? Let's have these conversations. I don't. If we live too much in hypotheticals, and if we live too much in fear of others, then we'll never ever get what it is that we desire. But I will say in the same breath, there are trifling, conniving people in this world, and whatever happens on girl trips, I don't know. I don't know. I can't kiki with you about the idea of girls trips, because when I go on trips with my friends, we come back friends. My friends go to family reunions with me. My friends, I am at their children's birth. So as a divine feminine, I'm not in those spaces, and divine masculine, I'm not looking for divine masculine in those spaces either, because let's just say we're on a date and this is all we're talking about. I'm be like, dang, like what's going on? It's like, what are you doing in your I'd rather talk about the divine masculine aspect of those things. We're not even in those spaces, because not negating from those who are in the process of experiencing those things. I think that is tragic and unfortunate. And so, but that's what I think about that whole entire thing. Like, as a divine feminine, that's beneath me. I'm not even engaging in that stuff, or that rhetoric, or any of that, because I see people getting together. Yes, I see the frustration, and sometimes, and even me as somebody who was not partnered myself, I still don't have a pessimistic outlook on it. I think that when things align and are supposed to happen, they'll happen, or they won't. But because I desire a divine masculine partner, it'll happen for me, and we'll do this work how we see fit. We're going to help the community, or do whatever we have you. So that's my response on that, brother.
So, okay. Cause now it got me thinking. Not that I'm gonna change how I felt, cause I still feel that way. I don't
Mm-hmm.
feel that way with all women,
Yeah.
but I did tell my mother that. No, I told my dad that.
Mm-hmm.
and he gave me the response that not all women are like that. And I
Mm-hmm.
told him, I said, well shit, daddy, well, I think women love men on the conditions that they provide something for them, right? And I said, what conditions would a man need to love a woman for? That's what I asked him.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, well, he couldn't even think of nothing. I said, well, my point exactly. Like, what conditions do we have for women besides birthing our children and having our last name? I said, I think people can be capable of loving unconditionally. However, if they're too busy not focusing on making themselves happy and bringing themselves joy and loving themselves unconditionally, you can't reciprocate how you don't feel about yourself. And it's a book that talks about that. It's called The Mastery of Love. It
Mm-hmm.
talks about you can't make anyone happy.
You can't.
You can't bring anybody joy.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
can add to, yeah, for sure, but you can't make nobody do anything they don't want to do unless they allow you to. And then if they
Mm-hmm.
allow you to, that means that you got power over them.
Mm-hmm.
So I think with that whole group, with that Zoom call, I learned two things. The first thing I learned is that there's always two sides to a story. You
Mm-hmm.
always hear women talk about how men dog them out, but we'll never hear the man's side of the story. So we just automatically believe that the woman is just telling the truth. Not saying that she's lying, and not saying she's telling all the way to. She might be telling half truth. She might be telling the whole truth. But it just goes to show you that the rhetoric has been shifted to where everything that a woman says is true, and we don't get the men's point of view, and then it makes the men shut down, and then they have mental problems or got mental issues. They feel like they can't talk to nobody because they feel like no matter what I say, it's not gonna mean anything. And I'm here to tell you, brother, listen, whatever you say is gonna mean something.
Mm-hmm.
It means something to me, it means something to whoever. Cause that stuff you gotta get off your chest. And you gotta let people know how you feel inside. Because we don't want that energy bottled up inside of you, then you go commit a heinous crime that might put you behind bars or might put you 6 feet under.
Right.
And I think it's important that we empathize and sympathize with the men too. Yeah, we might walk around like nothing don't bother us because I am listen, I am the mascot for that. I
Mm-hmm.
act like nothing don't bother me at all because I don't let shit bother me no more. I just kind of like whatever. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because I just kind
Mm-hmm.
of feel like only way something that will bother me is if I allow it to. And everything that I do, everything that I say is neutral. And I think that I'm constantly working on trying to be and stay aware of everything that I do, everything that I say, and how I feel.
Mm-hmm.
That's my healing process and my growing journey. And I just think that that part right there can also uh close the gap between the masculine, the divine masculine, and the divine feminine. Because I just kind of feel like when people need to get into that energy and to be able to, you know, close the gap. And then once
Mm-hmm.
that happens, then a shift would change. I mean, it may happen. It may happen next 5, 10 years, 20 years. We might not even be around when it happened, but I believe that it'll happen. But I also believe that the biggest wedge that's creating it is social media.
Yeah.
I just kind of feel like what it is. Everybody just think that what you see on social media is the truth, and it could be your truth if you want it to be true. But if
Mm-hmm.
you don't get out here and travel and meet different people, and it's something you said earlier, is what you attract. If you in that
Mm-hmm.
rhetoric, you're gonna keep
Yeah.
surrounding yourself with that.
Yeah, I scrubbed my entire timeline. I reset my whole algorithm so I don't see none of those like podcast talk, relationship talk, none of that kind of stuff. I only look up what I need, what I want to see and what I want to have in my psyche because that goes on into a spiritual level too. People are mindlessly scrolling and taking on concepts that they don't even believe, they don't even attuned to, or people are code switching, as you will, because they think that it's going to be a means to an end. But I think that with what is going on with the internet and the implosion, like and folks are always complaining about, oh, social media, social media. I'm like, y'all, the solution is to log the hell off and get back into touch with people. But the pandemic really forced folks online, and so now they're dependent. And so you're always going to be in a cycle of like, it's never going to look like it's going to be any better, because we don't know how to connect like information for our own well-being. So like, for example, in one sentence, in one statement, we know that social media and marketing propaganda puts all the negative stuff in up to light, all the negative, all the gossipy, it goes up, right? But yet and still, in the same breath, when we complain about, oh, all I see is that the him doing this, doing this, all this with relationship, it's like, yeah, fool, because point A, they're always going to uplift the negative stuff. So you saying, oh, this is all I see, duh. You only seeing a 0.2% of what is out there, because it's being programmed. And your folks don't think that you're programming your own stuff, but like, it's only a 2% of your reality is like social media. And so I think you need to live really, figure out what you like and who you like, and just because this social media world is a joke. And I can't wait for the day they turn the light out, and then you got to learn how to read a damn map to find something, because because that's my solution. And that's that. And go back to your question of like, why I don't have a divine masculine, is because that, I'm just like, who are you? Let's just talk. Let's just go out. Like, why do we gotta social media stuff? Like, well, they said, the moment somebody starts saying they said, I'm like, who is they, and why are you listening to they? Who are you? And you gotta, and you have to be mindful of that too when you're engaging in relationships. When you're trying to get to know somebody, you don't like, well, they said that, y'all, I want. I'm like, I don't know who they are, and I don't give a damn about who they are. Just ask me about me, because that'll it's not real. It's social media is a culture, and for me, culture is how someone lives, how they get together, one's way of life, and how they do things. That social media culture shows you how people live, how they get together, raggedy, one's way of life, raggedy. It shows you that's a culture. So if you wake up every day and ascribe to that culture instead of creating your own, or ascribing to your own culture, or creating your own culture, that's on you. And may you find your jigaboo and your boo thing in that culture. It's like, that's so, like, think about what you say and what you manifest when you say, well, they say, all you brothers want this and this, or all you sisters want this and this. When people come to me and say, I'm like, who? Because that ain't me. Like, I don't, that's not me. You have to get to know people personally, because the theys are very loud because they're on social media. They're loud. The loudest stuff gets bumped to the top. The wrongest stuff, the dysfunctional stuff, it gets bumped up to the top. That's why you don't ever see Susie Q winning the spelling bee 3 times in a row. Because who cares? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, knowing those two facts, that you're always going to see negative and you're never going to really see positive unless you actively delete your algorithm and reset it, you'll be better off when it comes to relationships and trying to get together with people. And then it'll encourage you to get out more, be active more, be more involved more, just have more action. I'd rather meet my divine partner where I am being of service to my community, whether I'm at some community spiritual event, like doing something, so you see who I am, and get to know me that way. Like, I hate to say like courting, but like, just getting to know who I am by seeing me. Like, social media is the aftermath. If you see anything on my social media, that's 15% of what I do. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, I live in real life, and
Yeah, you out here traveling to Puerto Rico and stuff.
see,
Out there getting
best week of my life.
good. I bet it was. I bet it was. I had to get out there one day.
You need to go ASAP, please. I got places for you to go. I have a list, trust me, and people, I got you. A plate. Listen, you want food? I got you.
Damn,
I'm
all that
telling you.
shit.
Listen. I'm resourceful. Women, we are resourceful. Okay, go ahead.
I, be- I, be- I believe. But so speaking of what we were talking about, how you know how you can get into that masculine energy aspect, that feminine
Hmm.
energy aspect. I think that individually, before we can come together collectively, we have to go through metanoia, where we have to transform ourselves spiritually first,
Hmm.
because there's a lot of drainage even outside of social media. And let's get not to get it twisted. Social media is a big part, but there is a lot of other stuff out there, the news, and then you got what we like to call in the matrix the agent Smiths that people like to protect what they're comfortable in. So you got to fight them too. You know what I'm saying? And it's like it's so
Yeah.
many, like, if you're a person who wants to change, you got to understand that you're fighting against a system, and you're fighting against people who would die for the system that they living in. And
Yeah.
sometimes you got to learn how to distance yourself. You got to go somewhere and figure out who you are before you can go and align with that divine counterpart.
Yes.
But metanoia is definitely something that people should take a look into doing. You know, um, I think it'd be beneficial for you and then the people around you. Like me, for example, my what we'll get back to that later. But
Okay.
while we'll get back to that later. But while we on the subject of that, um, how long have you been on your spiritual journey?
Without saying my age, well, 18 years. 18 years for a
He
while.
said what I was saying. Your age, you funny.
Listen, 18 years, okay?
Why women don't like telling their age? I'm always
I
been
don't
curious
mind,
about
but
that.
I don't mind. But 18 for about 18 years now.
Okay,
I don't care. I'll be here a long time. So, but about 18 years now. And it's evolved though too. So I'm 36 years old. So from the 18 to being 36 though, that's like, you know, it's
that's
been
most.
an
That's
ever.
all your adulthood. Damn.
That's it. That's it. I knew very early like the big three religion was not for me. So the moment I hit 18 and got up at the house, I'm a preacher's kid. So it's like when you get out of my house, you can do what you want. So I've been on that spiritual embarkment for about 18 years now. And it's been eye-opening, and in coming to that too, relationships too, of how when you don't when you're undeveloped and underdeveloped, those are two different things, undeveloped and underdeveloped, and trying to navigate what relationships are too. And even for me, coming from a two-parent home, sometimes folks miss out on like reaching back and giving children the tools. Like that's all we heard growing up was like, hey, marry somebody like your daddy, marry somebody like your mom. It's like great, but you don't give your children the tools of how to do so, of like, hey, this is how you do these things. I got lessons from my father. I knew my parents were beefing when I would go talk to my dad and he'd be like, hey, I remember this. I was maybe 14. He was somewhere, maybe the garage, and he was like, hey, when you grow up and you have your own man and you doing your own thing and you get mad, he said, sometimes you ain't got to say everything you think. I remember that, like, and I was like, oh, understood, like, so it's like, but we got to give our children something a little better than that. We got to, I think, but now that my parents are older, they actually now counsel people under under Jesus, you know and so, but it's really, just unlearning and relearning certain things of how you're supposed to get together with folks and all those things. And so it's cool. I've been at it
So
18 years to answer your question.
so out of those 18-year, wow, we were on the same age. I didn't know that.
Yes,
S-
I know I'm older
So
than you.
out of
I
those
remember that.
18,
I remember that.
you don't remember nothing. Whatever.
The Ethiopian food, that you was acting old, and I was like, I'm older than you. I remember that.
Why do you remember that? Why do you
Anything
remember that?
associated near food and like, Yeah. So this man think he old. Like, why is his knees cracking? I'm older than him. You're fine.
I got gray hairs, okay? When I wake up, my knees crack. When I wake up, my ears crack. Everything cracking. Shit's
Sir,
cracking right now.
you
Look, crack.
yoga,
I crack,
qigong.
crack.
Come on, dude. You're not, brother.
I'm
You're
just
too
joking. I'm not
vibrant to
old.
be
I'm
cracking.
young. Listen, I'm young.
Please. You need some, just a little bit of
But
oil. That's
but
all.
you know, but out of those 18 years, what is the best lesson that you have learned on your spiritual journey in them 18 years? You can just give me one.
Mm. I'm trying to sum it up to give you one. Mm. Don't let anyone tell you who you are. Like, if you, even if you're like on a discovery of like knowledge and just all the wisdom and all those things. And when I say don't let anybody tell you who you are, meaning like sometimes we want to take in all the knowledge so much, and somebody will say, you know what? You a thief. You're a thief. And you're thinking like, you know what? I never thought about myself as a thief before. You know what? I'm a thief. And you try to do all these things in your life. You try to be a thief, and it just don't work out because you allow someone to tell you who you are, and it goes against who you are. So that's what I'm saying. So like, we seek to find knowledge so much that we don't have any boundaries for ourselves, that we receive everything. And so I think it's important to have a sense of self and foundation, and don't let everybody tell you who you are. Not where you come from. Having somebody tell you where you come from is different, but who you are, that's you. That's between you and your divine, if that's where you are, and your ancestors, if that's where you are. But, because can't nobody wake up and tell you you ain't you. So
Yeah.
I had to learn that a couple times. It's like, I've, I've seen some things, okay? I've seen some
Yeah, no, I feel it. I
things.
feel it.
Yeah.
Uh, well, that's good though. I'm glad that you did remind yourself. You didn't find yourself. You reminded yourself of who you are,
Yes.
and you being a hoodooologist, I like to call it.
I like that. I like that. I like
you
that.
know, like doing a lot of good work for the community. So we appreciate you. Well, at least I do. I speak for me. I appreciate you. I appreciate the energy. I appreciate you for being. I appreciate you being in my soul tribe.
Thank you. You're welcome. Yes.
You
We
know,
family now. Let me
yeah. And I just, continue to be great at whatever it is that you do. And I think that it's important to uplift one another. And it doesn't have to be men uplifting men and women uplifting women. I think that we should all be uplifting each other because that's how you create a strong foundation between men and women. And when you don't limit yourself to just your own gender or your own people, I
Yeah.
mean, not like not them people, but you know what I'm trying to say, like your own
I
people.
listen.
But yeah, when you uplift your own people
Hmm.
and stuff like that, that's how you create a strong foundation between the two, and then that's how
I
you
agree.
get back to the rebuilding of the the man and the woman coming together. It doesn't have to be in a sexual way. It could just be friendship,
Those forces
relationship,
together are
partnership.
powerful.
Yeah,
Community.
yeah. We
Yeah.
definitely need that because we liking it. I'm not saying that it's not people out here not doing it, because it is people
Hmm.
out here doing it. We know some of them,
We do.
but we need more.
We do.
We need a
We need to
lot
put
more.
that to the top of the algorithm. You know.
Man, my algorithm is crazy.
I bet. I hear it.
it's not a lot of relationship stuff on there, but yeah.
I'll start sending you some better stuff to clear up your algorithm. What you like?
It's not bad though. It's not bad. It's just
Okay.
about a bunch of shoes and it'd be a couple. It'd be a couple of spiritual stuff on there.
I
No,
can't
some
help you
women
with the
here and
shoes.
there. It'd be some here women here and there. It didn't be vacation spots to go to.
Okay.
That
Oh, well,
that's a
it
lot.
sounds pretty good to me.
Yeah,
Okay.
like it don't be a bunch of foolery
Okay,
like
good.
that. But I do like to laugh sometimes, so I'll try to find something funny.
Yeah.
But
Good to know.
you will never find me posting no negative shit ever.
Good.
I
Good.
don't
I'll
believe
check
in.
you. You know, community. What did you ask me earlier? What if you see
I,
a brother that's not doing
I gotta hold me accountable.
I
That's
got you.
right. And I would appreciate that because sometimes, we all fall off. Sometimes, I
Hmm.
had an accountability partner. I don't know what the hell happened to her. We used to talk.
Uh,
We had a yeah,
partner, did you not go account for her? Where's she
because we supposed to. We had a thing. We had an agreement that every Sunday that we will have a conversation about what it is that we're supposed to be doing. Like I'm supposed to be doing this podcast stuff. So she's got to make sure I'm still doing that and other things too. She's working on like her own business brand. I had to make sure she was still staying on top of it. I ain't talked to her in like 2 months. I gotta call her. Cause I
at?
was
And when's the
just
last time did you do a podcast?
see my point exactly. Two almost
Just let me rub your shoulder, brother. It's time to
but
call
see,
your friends.
but my excuse, but I ain't gonna say excuse, but to make it fair, I haven't been
That
home.
was cute. You dressed it up nice.
Yeah, I'm not gonna
Be
say excuse,
fair.
but to be fair, I wasn't home, and I
I'm
did have
only
a lot to
one
talk about.
call away.
I had a lot to talk about, but I just didn't. I wasn't in the energy to do the show, and I want to make sure I give this 100% of me because I don't want to do this halfway. Because then people will
Right.
know I'm doing it halfway. Because I won't be
True.
enthused about it. I'll just be sitting there like,
Throwing
you
it
know what I'm
together. I
saying?
understand. I do. I
So,
do.
so like I have like a list of things to talk about, and there's people I want to talk to about. But I'm just right now. I'm just kind of like you know, just trying to find the energy, whatever spirit is leading me. That's what I'm
That's
gonna
good.
do. So yeah, that's just
That's
but
good.
yeah, but not just mine. I'm gonna make sure I call her ass tomorrow. like,
Yes,
uh,
please. Do I need to
like,
hold you accountable?
ma'am, where have you been? like, and I was just in her city last weekend too. Terrible,
I'm about to say,
terrible.
yeah. Come on, friend.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. Though I'd be in North Carolina though. Yeah, yeah.
Hey, there's always things to do in North Carolina, the land of
Yeah,
abundance.
some people, I know some people from Gather the Mess that stay down there, and I was gonna
Yes,
link
there's
up
a
with
lot.
them. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
North
Look,
Carolina and
North
South
Carolina is a
Carolina.
very spiritual place. Please come.
It sound like it.
We'll cook for
Durham,
you. You see, I cook. We'll cook for you. We're good, hospitable.
good. I need some of that Southern hospitality.
Come on.
So yeah, all right, that might have to be the move next year. You know,
Hmm. There's a
not
lot
this
going
year
on.
because it's towards the end
This
of the
year's
year.
almost over. People
Eh,
traveling now. We already
Yeah,
got stuff booked out. Either.
yeah, and it's getting more expensive. So the longer I wait, so
I'm trying
I
to see what the border's doing. Like, okay,
yeah, well, I'm gonna find out next week though. Hopefully, yeah, hopefully, I won't have no problems going
you
through
won't.
customs. Yeah, I won't.
You shouldn't.
I bet not. I command that I don't have no problems. I'm gonna get in there smooth sailing, like I
You
always
already on the
have.
plane.
Yep,
Yeah.
I'm there.
Yeah.
Like
Hmm.
mentally, I'm there. I ain't physically there yet, but my body gonna catch up to my mind at some point.
Yeah. I can't wait for your end of the year collage of all the places you've been.
you know, I
Make
went.
a song good, please. Please don't have nobody. Please don't have no man quote with something. True strength. No, have a song, please, with your all your years, please, please.
I'll just put it in the highlights. Everything just go in the highlights. I can't do the collage and stuff. Like once I take a picture where I'm at in that country or city, then that's just it. I don't. Or if
iPhone
it's
will
in a
do it for
story,
you.
you
iPhone
go.
does it for you. iPhone does
Oh,
it
oh
for you.
yeah, they do randomly though. They
It's a
see
little
random.
weird. You're
Yeah,
like,
you be like, "Fuck, this is like 3 years ago. Why you show me something three
you
years
gotta
ago?"
edit some out. They missed a couple of days or years.
Or I be like, "Wait a minute, how y'all jump from January to March, from March of 2016 to January of 2019? Like what?"
Photos I
But
thought I deleted. You gotta watch the video through because they will sneak something up in there now.
Well, uh, hey, hey, I don't have nothing. Well, anyway, that's a whole nother conversation. But before we get out of here, um, I want to ask you one last question,
Okay.
and the floor is going to be all yours. What advice would you give to women who are trying to find their divine femininity? And what advice would you give to the men who are in their divine masculine looking for their divine feminine woman?
For the women trying to find the divine femininity, I would really I love this question. I really say start by researching what the divine feminine is to you. You know, there's so many expressions and dynamics of what that divine feminine is. And when you just on that path of discovery, that opens up to a lot of like self-awareness, self healing, and it'll want you to be able to seek out community, whether it's small or wide, to be able to help you evolve in that definition of divine femininity for you, because it looks different for every woman, right? And so when developing that, nurture it, and figure out, how you can best express this for yourself, not for anyone else, but when you express your divine feminine for yourself, and in turn, that brother, that divine masculine who, is complement to your authentic feminine energy of how you express it, that's how you'll combine. And brothers, I be more attentive, be more paying attention to more of the action, be divine femininity is not one way. But if you have a definition of what you seek out in divine feminine, then that's fine, and seek that out in a woman. But if she doesn't fit that definition of you, then she's not the one for you. So understanding that divine femininity is very vast, because remember, under the umbrella of feminine is chaos, creation, just nine ether, all of these great things, are that feminine aspect. So you got to be considerate of like how, what it is that you're looking for when it comes to someone alongside you. So knowing what it is that you're seeking first, and what you need, by developing and crafting and having your own divine masculine, saying, you're like, you know what, the counterpart I need should be like this. I would love for it to be like this. She could be this and this and this and this, and then you know but we all often mess up sometimes when we find someone who almost fits the mark, and then we try to change them, or then was like, well, maybe you should do these things, or well, and then that's where we get into those battles when we see somebody we want, but they're not within our what we need for ourselves in our lives. And then there's a battle. It's like, well, if you don't align with what I align with, then why are we having this conversation? Because we're not even going to get together. And I think that's another reason why we have a lot of these wars of conversation, because you're having apples trying to get with sweet potatoes. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, find your sweet potato is what I'm saying. So that's all I got. Please, I'm tired of looking at myself.
Well, once again, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, I had muted the mic because I didn't want to interrupt you. Once again, Alien Black Girl, I want to thank you and give gratitude for coming on my platform and speaking on behalf of the divine feminine women. And this was a great conversation. I did learn a lot tonight from you in this
Thank you.
conversation. And I did leave all of your information in the description. I got your Instagram and Facebook,
Oh,
just in
nice.
case they want to, see what you talking about.
Oh, you got
Is
my
it?
Facebook. Oh, Lord. That's where my family at. I'm kidding. I'm joking. I'm joking.
Hey,
I'm joking.
maybe,
I
maybe,
don't
maybe,
care.
hey, maybe they might want to DM you. Hey, they might
Oh,
want to. They might just want to. They might just want to see, like, they might want to know more about the hoodoo culture. I think it's important
hey,
to
I'm open.
educate our people.
Absolutely. I'm open. Slide. Respectfully. Slide. Please.
Okay, with that being said, I want to thank everybody that watched tonight. I will be dropping another episode this week. I will let y'all know who the next guest is gonna be. But until then, peace, love. This is your boy, Handsome Hey Root, aka Dre, aka Hey Root Dre, aka whatever else you want to call me.
Okay,
So
handsome.
girl, we try to gas me up now. Hey y'all, she hitting on me. Hey, she hitting on me, y'all.
You would know.
All right, y'all. All right, y'all. Y'all take it easy. I'll see y'all later. Peace.